Does anyone really know what's going on with some of these receiver rumors right now? First, we had Justin Jefferson, and that seemed far fetched to begin with. It was getting reported by CT ESPN. Yesterday, we were hearing rumblings about Brandon Ayuk, and now today, Terry McLaurin's name is being popped up and linked to the Steelers. Of the three, the most legitimate seems like Ayuk because there are reports out there that the Steelers were talking with the 49ers about a potential Ayuk trade. And then we also had the random tweet from Ayuk out of nowhere towards Mike Tomlin asking, hey, we look like twins. What do you think? So that one seems the most legitimate. I can't really find anything on this Terry McLaurin one outside of Chris Muller from 93.7 The Fan just saying, hey, if the Steelers are interested in Ayuk, this is my own opinion, why wouldn't they be interested in Terry McLaurin? Like, I don't really have any inside scoop if the Steelers are interested or in talks with the Commanders or not. This is just my opinion on it. And it seems like blogs and Steeler accounts have ran with that and have basically insinuated that the Steelers are talking with the Commanders for Terry McLaurin. That's my read on it. You guys let me know if I'm off. Out of the three receivers, I think Ayuk is the one that's actually in play and the one that the Steelers are actually talking about or talking with. So who knows? And I thought a little bit more after recording the Ayuk video from yesterday. And one of you guys said it in the comments, like, is a first too much? Is a first in Calvin Austin too much? Or maybe even a first in another late round pick? Is that too much? Could we actually get him for something less, like a second round pick? Like, why trade a first when you can get him for a second? When you have the con artist here who typically can get the Steelers on the upper end of some of these deals, why pay the first? But honestly, the first is probably fair. If you look at some of the other receiver deals that have happened across the league, including players of Ayuk's caliber, a first and something extra is typically what the market is. So I think it would be fair. But again, if you're the Steelers, do we have to pay it? Are we that desperate for a receiver like Ayuk, especially in a draft class that has this many good receivers and potentially having a Terry McLaurin out there too? Are we that desperate? And then you're also going to have to pay the dude when he gets here. So I feel like the interest is there. Omar Khan is doing Omar Khan things right now, not jumping the gun, making sure the Steelers have the best leverage on the situation. And who knows, maybe with how this plays out, if the Steelers play coy, if they kind of chill back and just let the landscape play out here, Ayuk's value could go down as time goes on. And if Ayuk is serious about how disgruntled he is with the 49ers organization, and if he tips his hand where he says, listen, if you trade me, I only want to go to the Steelers, I'm not signing an extension to any other team, then that could help the Steelers side of the deal, potentially getting him for less, because if the 49ers have their hands tied and Ayuk only wants to go to the Steelers, almost like the Justin Fields trade. Like, there was supposedly another offer out there that was better for Justin Fields, but Fields wanted to go to the Steelers, and the Bears wanted to do right by Fields. Now, I don't know if the Niners and Ayuk have that same type of relationship, but if Ayuk says, I'm going to hold out this year, I'm disgruntled here with the 49ers, and if you're going to trade me, I only want to go to the Steelers because that's the only team I'm going to sign an extension for, then that helps us out a ton. But I don't know what's actually going on. I'm just throwing out some hypotheticals here where maybe the trade compensation can go down and it's not necessarily a first-round pick that the 49ers are asking for right now. We'll see. Just let it play out as time goes on. I don't think we are. I'll put it to you this way. I think getting Brandon Ayuk for a first-round pick and some change, whatever it is, if it's also Calvin Austin, if it's another like late-round pick, a third or fourth-round pick, that's fair. That's fair. And then we sign Ayuk for 20 plus million, probably more in like the 23, 24 million range per year. Okay. Then we'll have some questions about the offensive line because the guys I want in this upcoming draft are Zach Frazier and Jackson Powers-Johnson. It's looking like they're going to go in the first round. So we're going to need that first round pick for the O-line unless we try to sign someone in free agency. But I feel like the O-line guys that are available, particularly on the interior and at center, it's pretty sparse right now. They're not necessarily guys I want. The one or two names that were out there that I was interested in already got signed, like day 1, day 2 of free agency. Mitch Morse, and then also Russell Wilson, center over in Denver. Outside of that, I don't think there's much out there for us, which is why we need to draft one of those two centers as we sit here right now. Receivers, we could draft a dope receiver, whether it's the first round, second round, or third round. But if the asking price goes down for Ayuk here, maybe the leverage shifts more in the Steelers' favor as time goes on, we can get him for a second, then it could be the best of both worlds. But yeah, that's the latest receiver rumor or receiver report that's out there right now. Terry McLaurin being thrown into the mix. Again, I don't know how legitimate it is. I can't really find any legit sources out there on it, but it's being talked about. So I figured it'd be not a bad idea to talk about it here right now. But transitioning, I wanted to talk about this like probably 4 or 5 days ago over the weekend when we were making all those quarterback moves, the Justin Fields move. I wanted to talk about Devin Bush going to the Browns because I just think it's funny. It feels like the Browns tried to copy us and sign a rival inside linebacker that was drafted in the first round. Because we picked up Devin Bush in the first round back in, 2019? Patrick Queen, he was picked up in the first round by the Ravens, I think a year later, 2020. And we as Steelers fans, we as a Steelers organization feel like we got one up on the Ravens there. We took away from our rival, but we added big time to what we got going on here. And the Browns, they just, again, try to copy that and replicate that, thinking that because they signed Devin Bush, they got one up on the Steelers. Like, look, the Steelers got one up on the Ravens. We're going to get one up on the Steelers. I'm sorry, but by signing Devin Bush, it doesn't work that way. Just because we did it doesn't mean you had to do it. You should have done some better due diligence on the player that you were getting. So thank you for doing it. Like, Steeler fans are happy. I think some Browns fans are acting like they got something in Devin Bush. But I really don't think D. Bush is going to have that same energy for being back in the AFC North and playing against his former team like this guy does.
I want to be that villain. I want to be that guy.
The craziest part is, too, the Browns literally got to go up against Devin Bush 2 times a year over the last however many years, and they still made this move. And then I thought, okay, maybe it's just for depth competition, right? Linebacker 4, linebacker 5. But I looked on ESPN and looked at the Browns roster and then their depth chart, and ESPN thinks that Devin Bush is going to be starting for the Browns. They got him as one of their top 3 linebackers right now. So if that stands, get Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren slotted in your fantasy lineups for those 2 Browns games in 2024. Because the one game that the Steelers went up against Devin Bush last year, we know how that ended for the Steelers running backs. They had an absolute field day. So I hope Browns fans or the Browns organization think they're doing Pittsburgh dirty by making this signing, because it's pretty damn funny. It's pretty damn hysterical. Like, Ravens fans are trying to act like Queen to the Steelers ain't a big deal. Man, whatever. Like, he wasn't that good anyway. He needed Roquan Smith. This Patrick Queen signing ain't what you think it is, Steeler fans. But come on, bro. They're just coping. We all know who Patrick Queen is. This dude is a top 10 inside linebacker, arguably top 5 inside linebacker. But Steeler fans, no, we're not coping. We are legitimately laughing at the Browns fans and the Brown organization for thinking that this is a good signing. Yeah, that's really all I gotta say. Cause there's, that's it. Cause I think there are some dudes that are trying to talk themselves into this, but we know what it is, man. We know what it is. There was one Browns guy on Twitter that I saw. just absolutely coping, saying like Devin Bush had like the lowest missed tackle rate over the last several years, and when he played for the Seahawks last year, he actually wasn't half bad, bro. All right, maybe he is making tackles, but they're about 20, 30 yards down the field or 10 yards down the field after a dude picked up a first down. Not only did we get to witness that when he was a Steeler, but we got it from the opposite end of the spectrum whenever we played Devin Bush against the Seahawks. Devin Bush had how many tackles? Remember looking at the box score after the game? You're just like, oh, Devin Bush had like almost 20 tackles? Okay. But Najee Harris and Jalen Warren went off for like 200 plus yards on the ground. So, yeah, those tackles really weren't that impactful at all. At all. So, yeah, hopefully Devin Bush does start for the Browns. Hopefully he does. But that's it for today's show. Talked more receivers, trade rumors, and then also Devin Bush going to the Browns. Just wanted to react to that, even though it happened, like I said, 4 or 5 days ago over the weekend. We had some other things that were a little bit more important and had to be prioritized in terms of talking about. But stay chilling. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace.